Musica. Hello. 1, 2, 3. Hello. Thank you for the completely undeserved applause at the beginning. You're going to be sorry in a couple of minutes. Now, that's 2. Okay, cool. Welcome to my talk. It's called Companies Without Designers Are Building a Catastrophe. And it is my first time doing this talk. And I'm going to be doing it in English for the sake of a couple of people in the audience that don't speak Croatian, if that's fine with everybody. Okay, cool. Great. So glad that everybody, basically the room is full. I did not expect this. This talk is basically about my last couple of years of experience working for big companies that are using agile methodologies of building software and working with no designers. And then they invite me to come in and basically save the thing when it's too late. So we are here to make it better. My clicker is not working. Okay, here we go. So my name is Tomislav Kozacinski. I'm obviously a designer. And this is my website and my Twitter and Instagram handle. So if you are tweeting, Instagramming, or whatever doing, please use this, and I will try to share it later once I'm done. Also, it's a really great privilege to talk at this conference. I grew up reading Bug the magazine, so this is kind of, I don't know, a natural progression of where I'm supposed to be. So, okay, cool. Let's get serious. So please feel free to use this handle for any tweeting, whatever purposes. And a quick disclaimer, I sometimes do share porn, so if you do follow me, this is on you. Do not read me at work. Okay. Also, promise to my future self, my website is a little bit out of date. I will update it soon, so it's going to be changed near future. So why am I doing this talk? So in short, basically, I come from Croatia, obviously, and I grew up in a relatively poor family, and I grew up hating wasting money, and whatever we wanted, it was you needed to plan to whatever you want to do. So when I see people wasting money on dumb shit, it just makes me kind of angry. So one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing is to save people money, save companies money, save my clients money, and now I want to talk about this to you great people, so maybe you can save money for yourself in the future, especially if you're a developer. So this talk is a lot of learnings from Lean UX, but it's not about Lean UX, so I promise you, I will try to talk as little as possible about UX itself. So this talk is not about Lean UX and also not a transparent PNG because I was Googling fairly quickly and this is what I got. I needed like a rubber stamp PNG and this is what I got from Google Images. So yeah. Lean startup methodology. I'm sure that most of people here are familiar about lean startups, how do they work, why do they work, all the stuff like that. So I will really try to really be quick about stuff like this, so I do not talk about something like everybody know for the last 10 years, but I do want to talk about how stuff is currently being built. So you heard about build, measure, learn methodology, and then just build it quickly and test it, and then we're going to see what customers want, and we want to build it again, and then we're going to test again it works, right? Okay, cool. A lot of head nodding here. So, but this thing kind of misses the key component that was in a lean startup. It just was not present when I was working, is this ideation process that comes before actually building. And having witnessed people working for startups and being really quick and agile about what they're building, and then they would progress from a startup to a bigger company, but the methodology kind of stayed the same. So they were just building stuff without putting a lot of thinking into it. But when the company grew, when the team grew, building stuff actually costs a lot of money because developers are expensive and it takes a lot of time, and we all know time equals money. So if you have a lot of developers working on something that may not necessarily work, you're basically losing money. So one of the reasons that just get it built does not work in a big company. And I had an opportunity to see something firsthand, how something just get fucking done and then we're gonna see what happens, resulted in a loss of a lot of money. A quick story about the product that was built. Imagine you have a CMS that you upload a lot of images to, and then those images go to some screens and are served as ads. So one thing that happened is it was supposed to be built really quickly, and it was just supposed to do that one simple thing. We just need to upload images to the CMS, and we're going to display them on these screens. And that product kind of grew and evolved into something that became basically a management for a lot of ads, which is a good thing, but not a lot of design thinking went into the process of building this. And I was in a company that uses this software that has around almost 50 people using this, and I spent a day watching them. How do they use it? How do they operate it? What do they do with it? And just to learn how they operate with the software that the company I'm working for is being built. So I learned a lot. One of the things that I learned was they had, on daily basis, they would need to delete a lot of images from certain, let's call it a folder, doesn't matter what it is. But there was no delete all function. It was, you can select all images and make them a default image, but you cannot select all images and then say delete all. You need to go into image, open the image, delete, yes, I want to delete, okay, and then for every image. Now imagine you have a folder with 30 images, then you need to delete twice a day. It just takes a lot of time, and when you have almost 50 people doing this for a long time, it just takes a lot of time to do. So I did a little math. It was 47 employees working on this product, and they spend on average an hour a day just deleting a bunch of images that they don't need. And their hourly rate in London is £30 per hour, which total to are over £28,000 per month, or in total of over £300,000 per year for not having a delete all function, which is funny, to say the least. So I did my findings, came back to the client and said, okay, this is what we have. And this was just one of the many things that I found. So when I came back with this, whatever I'm charging, which is way less than what they're losing per yearly basis, I'm basically very cheap, right? So I think, and then the company's initial reaction was to blame developers for building a shitty whatever they was building. And I say we never blame developers for building whatever they're building, because when you take a look at how the Scrum process works, there's no design thinking in this process. And when they came from startups where it was never a thing, so they just not continued doing what they know best. So nothing worked as planned, but everything worked as designed, because there's no product that is not designed. Everything is designed. Only a couple of things are designed really well. Everything else is just designed poorly. So, fuck, sorry. I need to go back. Okay. So imagine that you need a volume slider. This is one of my favorite things from UX. You need a best volume slider. So obviously you will not charge for monthly subscription for a volume slider. But if you come to developers and say, hey, we need the best volume slider that has advanced volume controls, this is something that you might get from a developer. Right? It's an amazing advanced volume slider. You can choose exactly what you want. But then client comes with something, okay, yeah, that's great, but we need, shit. Okay, but can you make it more user-friendly? Sure. Then they do something like this, like, okay, please make a noise as loud as you want the volume to be, which is kind of user-friendly, right? So, okay, it works, but it's not fun. We need it to be more fun. Can we build something that is fun? Sure we can. Let's build a volume slider that is fun. Okay, yes. And this is what you get when you just keep building, just keep shipping, and we're going to figure out what users want. No, this is not what users want. So we are kind of better together. This is a customer experience intersected with agile building. And you can see the agile is just one little part of this chart where we are constantly iterating on a product, but there's a whole thing that comes before we actually build something. And this is something that I had to explain to one of the leading people in a company where they kind of grew the company just building stuff. And one of the things that was built was based on a wireframe that was designed by one of the C-suite people in PowerPoint and then shipped over to development team in India, and they just built it. So you have an app that looks like a PowerPoint presentation that just doesn't work. So a lot of stuff needs to come from thinking about the whole process that the user goes through. It's not just about UI, it's not just about UX, it's about the whole customer experience, the entire service that you are providing. Okay, so you build an MVP, you can test end to end. One of the things that I came across when working with these clients and working with their users is they were building an MVP that was not actually working as the intended product should work. So one of the things that kind of happened was, let's say they were building a cake. When you build a cake and you want to test the cake with your users, and I always say that we need to test early and often and test as much as we can. So if you want to build an MVP of a cake, you do not build this and then test it with users. If you ask anybody, hey, we are building a cake, can you try this? Tell me, do you like our cake? What will you say? Well, it's shit. It's not good. It doesn't taste right. It's not cake. So I cannot evaluate your product on an MVP. Does not solve my problem, right? And this is, sorry. So going from this, when you are building an MVP, people say minimal viable product. I like to say minimum lovable product. It needs to be something that you can actually test, right? And this would be a great MVP for a cake. Hey, dear users, do you like this? And then they would say yes, and then we can build the actual product because we validated that this is something that users want. Of course, who doesn't like cupcakes? And now there's always somebody says, look, I don't like cupcakes. Well, you're not human, so fuck you. So, but this is the thing. I came to a company where when I was talking to their users who are employees of their parent company, they were never asked any of the questions. I spent a day with them and I asked them, okay, how do you do this, how do you do that? And one of the people in charge of the entire team said, oh my God, this is amazing. Nobody ever asked us this. Nobody ever asked them anything. So it was, for me, it was, first I was kind of surprised, like they build a software that you're using to service this multi-million-dollar industry and nobody asked you how this thing works. It just came from somewhere, and they said yes, which was kind of, okay, cool. That was like very unexpected, and we tried to change a lot of things. So this is what the future of UX is going to be, and moving away from testing users and telling you everything you know to how to move to work with UX people, that you need UX people in the company. So they're the death of design files. I love this. So Google Docs changed the way we collaborate, and now there will be no more design files. There's no more deliverables that designs are delivering. Not anymore. They still exist because we are slow to change. But everything we are now using is in cloud. We are using cloud software for collaboration. We are using software that is online. We are collaborating with developers. So there's a thing that's been done by Airbnb. It's called Paint with Code. We can directly design with components that are already coded, so developers could just pick it up and build a product. So we are moving away from actual deliverables of design that are going to be files that we share. Everything's going to be online and everything's going to be coded. So rather to focus on artifacts, we focus on prototypes and validating the prototypes in discovery with added benefit that the prototype serves the spec for delivery, which is true. Once you have a prototype that's been tested and you know that it works and it's built by components that are in our component library, in our design system, then we're going to be sure that we are just building something once. We are not building something and then going back, trashing it and doing it again. Okay, so what can you do? If you're a developer in your company, you can advocate for hiring a designer. If you're working in a company that you're developing and not working with a designer, one of the things you can do is say, hey, we need a designer that will help us move this product faster. We're going to be delivering more stuff. It's going to be better. And you tell your superiors or bosses or whatever, you tell them like they're going to save a lot of money, which usually helps. If you're running a company and don't have designers, please do not train people who are not designers to become designers. Because what will happen is, like, you will have somebody who's a non-designer and you will send them to a 3-day boot camp, or just you go do that UX stuff and then you learn, you go to a conference, you do a workshop, and then you're going to be that person for a company, because what UX does is just draws wireframes and boxes and lines, right? Wrong. And this is one of the issues that I've seen, where people are like, oh, we have this person who does this, this, and that, but is also a UX designer for a company. No, it's not. People are talented. There are people who have talents to do certain stuff. Designers are talented to do design. Developers are talented to do developers. I'm not a developer. I tried to be a developer 10 years ago. I did some front-end work. You don't want me to code a little bit, to do a 3-day boot camp, and then write a Python script or whatever these guys do. I don't understand. But you wouldn't want me meddling with their code, so you don't want people who are non-designers to work with design. Or you will have this. And this is a real design spec I got from a client. That the client designed in Microsoft Excel and said, this is the website that I want. You see that I don't need a designer. I just need you to build this. And the guy was technically right. He designed the thing. I said, bravo, well done. I have no idea how you did this, because I do not design in, but he won. So he told me, can you build this website? And I said, no, I'm sorry, I'm not that good. And I told him that it can't be done. And he went and saved the file as HTML and uploaded it to his hosting, and it worked. And he said, you see, it works. I'm better than you. You just wanted to scam me for doing who knows what and take my money. So that sir really did win. Come back. Fight for your team. Yes, fight for your team. Fight for whatever product you're building, and make sure that the thing you're building will have somebody to support it end to end. And for that, you need to hire great people. I've seen a couple of times that where people are hiring on the lower spectrum of salary, which I know that sometimes if you don't have, you do not have budget for it, rather hire somebody part-time who's better than hire somebody full-time who's not as good, because they will end up costing you more. So this is one of the things that are very important. So I think I'm done. It's been 19 minutes. I aim for 18 for stuff like this. So thank you very much. That was it for this session. Thank you for listening. Wait. Thank you. So, yes, this is me. Please reach, tweet out, whatever. And now, part for Q&A. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer anything. We have 12 minutes to use it as good as we can. What?
Do you need me at all?
I don't need you. Well, maybe later. But for now, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, I'm here to assist.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. Any questions? Okay, going once, going twice. Good, 0 questions. Either I did poorly or I did really well and everything was clear. So thank you so much. That's it.
Well, ja mislim da si bio sjajan u stvari. Evo, meni je bilo fantastično slušati ovu prezentaciju. Još jednom